back on my summertime fine. Had to let my hair breathe a little bit, so I'm back with the short do. And I'm relieved about it now. So much has been going on in my mind, in my heart, emotionally dealing with this breakup, and I look back and I haven't had much time to vent. I haven't had much time to get shit off my chest. Let me retract that statement. It's not that I didn't have enough time. It's I always try to talk myself out of feeling the intensity of what it is that I'm feeling, because the end result is not ever good and it's not ever benefiting, right? But I say that I've created a bad habit out of that, because if you don't release that shit properly, it'll fuck around and be detriment, not just to yourself, but possible to people around you that have nothing to do with why you're feeling the way that you're feeling. It's just that you're looking for, an outlet. And sometimes you're not even looking for a fucking outlet. Sometimes it's just an emotional burst because you've been compounding and keeping it compact and held in for so fucking long. And that's what the fuck I have been doing. Trying to maintain and hold my head and not let the situation get the best of me. So today's video is about a fucking rant. Maybe, it's overdue. It is possibly over fucking due. And during the process, I fucking had to really, just yesterday, I had to pat myself on the motherfucking back, because I had to realize that I made the best of my time. He didn't. He didn't use any of that motherfucking time to heal. Instead, he found a coping mechanism. Who the fuck am I to judge how people cope and deal with the situation at hand? Whatever process that you need to go through at that time, I guess it's meant for you to go through at that time. However you deal with it, is however you deal with it. I'm not responsible for anybody outside of myself except my children. All right? So I made the best of my fucking time. And in making the best of my time, regardless of the motherfucking circumstances that caused me to be in this position, I put in this motherfucking work, blood, sweat, and tears. And I had to pat myself on the fucking back for once. Because I hardly ever fucking do it. I have hardly ever fucking did it. Because I kept chopping it up as saying, this is my responsibility. Who the fuck wants to be recognized for doing what the fuck they supposed to do? But there's a thin line with that shit, because number one, the accomplishments that I have, thankful to the universe for being a messenger, thankful to the creator for guiding me and protecting me and allowing me to not just be able to accomplish these accomplishments, not to be able to just obtain the accomplishments, but it's a form of spiritual communication, elevation. Check this shit out. I was so into, it's just my it's my responsibility to be there as a significant other. It's my responsibility to do right by my children, keep a roof over their head. And yes, absolutely, it's my responsibility. But guess what? I could have did that shit in the ways of it being the bare minimum. Like, I could have fucking stayed on motherfucking Section 8. You know what I'm saying? And fucking been all right with that. I could have fucking did everything to the minimum. You know what I'm saying? Like, I first, and then it even wasn't my fucking responsibility to be there as a fucking significant other. I made it my responsibility because I felt like, you know, you all with the fuck, you know, you can't talk that I love you shit and, you know, that's my person, and you not follow up on that shit with actions. Motherfuckers do a whole bunch of motherfucking talking, as I find out throughout the years. I was manipulated by a motherfucking a nigga that's a jailbird ass nigga. He do a lot of fucking talking. But when it came time to show and prove, he had no fucking actions to follow up behind none of that shit. You know what I'm saying? That he was talking on the motherfucking years. But I was fucking talking it, and I was fucking walking it. You understand? And I had to pat myself on the back for that shit, because that's not that to me, you know, I've learned that that's not human behavior. That is a proven fact that I have a spiritual connection. You know, a lot of fucking humans get comfortable with the bare minimum, you know what I'm saying, of fucking nothing. And so they don't strive for their greatness. They don't strive to be better. They don't strive to do better. You know what I'm saying? They just talk a lot. They talk a fucking lot, which explains the reason why there's no real pushback with racism. There's no real pushback amongst our people with prejudice and injustices. There's no real pushback. A lot of motherfuckers will get mad at an event, and they'll talk a lot of shit for a certain amount of time, but when it comes time to push it into action and do certain shit, they won't fucking do it. And to me, that says a lot about an individual. That says a lot about a fucking person. And I needed to sit back and say to myself, hold up, bitch, you did that. Now, there are a lot of people who grew up in a certain environment, meaning a two-parent home. I didn't grow up in a two-parent home. Well, correction. I didn't grow up in a home that had a mother and a father. I had a two-parent home, but my two parents were my mom and my grandmother, okay? But you have people who had the pleasure, I won't even say the privilege, because that should be a norm in our community, but it's not, because again, ain't no real pushback. Niggas will talk a lot of shit. You know, I love my kids. You know, they'll do that shit. They'll talk a lot, but they don't make their self present in the community, in the households, to be able to balance out the shit that they talking. That's another story. I'm not going to go there. That's just been my experience. Again, so people have had the pleasure of growing up in a home with a mom and a dad. You know, I didn't have that. You know, but I don't hold that against anybody. I don't even hold it against my father. Now that I'm an adult and I understand the psychological and the communal warfare that was going on against our people, I don't fucking hold that against, you know, people in my family who did what I consider did the best they could, when they could, how they could, at the time that they could. I'm not holding that against no motherfucking body. But you know, as you grow older and you retain certain information, or you get certain information, it's up to you to do what the fuck you want to do with the information. But as you get certain information, I just believe that, you know, once that information is given to you, it's incumbent upon you to take it into consideration and act upon it. So with that being fucking said, I have grew up in apartments all my motherfucking life. All my motherfucking life. He have grew up in apartments all his life. And all I'm motherfucking saying, all I'm saying is that now that we're adults, I have made conscious decisions to do better, not just by myself, but by my family. And I thought that one of the ways that I was able to do that was not just be there for my significant other, but to be a better parent to my children, especially because one of their parents was removed from the household. With that being fucking said, I took my fucking family out of the motherfucking hood and moved them to a suburbanized area. Was that better? Only time will fucking tell. But I can tell you this much, I provided a balance for my children, okay? And before we even got to purchase a home, because that's what this shit really about. I purchased a home, and I was able to purchase a home without that motherfucker. You know, and I had to pat myself on the back for that. But I was able to make that an accomplishment based on the circumstances that was given to us at the fucking time. And before I was able to purchase the home, me and our children, we went on vacations twice a year, because I felt like it was important for my sons to know that there is more to the world than the fucking hood that they grew up in. And although they was born into that community, although they have ties with that community, that's not all there is to life. And they don't have to dedicate their life to the community in which they was raised in simply because they was raised there. They don't owe any part of themselves to the community. The hood teaches you certain things. You learn what the fuck you could learn, and you hopefully that shit will apply throughout the rest of your life, which I believe that it does, because it keeps your humble beginnings, I feel like, always keep you grounded. Right? And so it took me a very long time to be able to celebrate shit like that, because at the time I just kept feeling like that's what the fuck you're supposed to do. That's what you're supposed to do. That's what you're supposed to do as a significant other, as a mom, as a parent. But you know what? No. I didn't have to do that. I didn't have to elevate our unit like that. I didn't fucking have to. My responsibility was to, no matter how I did it, I held true to my responsibility. But I superseded the expectations of those responsibilities. And I needed to pat myself on the fucking back for that and not feel guilty about it. A lot of us feel guilty about our accomplishments because, you know, society fucking keeps saying, you know, and even religious teachings, stay humble. Well, I think humility is nothing wrong with humility. There's nothing wrong with staying humble and being humble, but I feel like you learn a lot of that shit in the fucking very beginning in the hood. You learn that shit. You know what I'm saying? Stay humble no matter what your circumstances are. Stay humble. You carry that shit with you throughout your life, no matter what the accomplishments are. But then there comes a time when you feel like, or at least I felt like, I can't celebrate it because it means that I'm not being humble and I'm not being grateful. I'm not showing humility or gratitude towards the creator or towards the universe for my blood, sweat, and tears and my labor. Nah, that don't fucking mean that. That don't fucking mean that. And for that motherfucker to turn around and shit on me the way that he did, for as much as I've been through with that motherfucker, as much as I dedicated myself to that motherfucker, when he would never fucking do it. And the way motherfuckers co-signed off on that shit, supporting him, because see, he's the type of motherfucker that need constant outside validation. You know what I'm saying? And he would never keep a group of people around him that's 100% real with him and 100% truthful to him, because he don't want to take accountability for any fucking thing. Okay? So in order for you to be in his circle, in his immediate fucking circle, or be surrounded in his presence, you gotta stroke his motherfucking ego without holding him accountable for his bullshit. You gotta accept his bullshit if you want him to be in your life. And this is just real shit. Anybody that put that bullshit out on his bullshit out on the table and let him know, nigga, this is what the fuck you doing wrong, and this is where you need to correct it at, he got a problem with that. Very narcissistic, very egotistical. But I'm saying all that to say is that, you know, I bit that shit for a little while, you know, because again, you know, society teaches you be there for your man, help your man. We all in the motherfucking struggle together. But if we in the motherfucking struggle together, how come I have to keep using my resources to help a motherfucker that don't want to be helped and only want to be helped when it's convenient for him and his fucking ego, and not offering no type of reciprocity if we in this motherfucking struggle together? And I had to realize, probably late in the game, because this is after I done dedicated my fucking time and resources to a motherfucker that's non-appreciative and don't give a fuck about nobody. had to fucking realize, well, you know, okay, he at where he at, he did what he did, and in the process of recovering from that, realize how far you fucking came as an individual, emotionally, physically, spiritually, financially. A lot of the material gains that you was able to obtain, that you was able to accomplish, the goals you set, you did that shit. And that nigga wasn't fucking there. And he didn't fucking help you in no type of way. Not emotionally, not physically, not financially. Did he fucking contribute to that shit? So you got somebody like me, a thorough bitch like me, in your corner no matter what, if, ands, or fucking buts. And you have absolutely nothing to fucking offer in return to her or our motherfucking children. And you know what the community will say to me about that shit? That I'm wrong. Because I refuse to continue to be there for them. I'm wrong because I have finally got to a place where I know what the fuck I deserve. I know my worth. And ain't no motherfucking way in hell that I'm going to stay in a fucking relationship that's at least not reciprocal. I refuse to keep subjecting myself to mistreatment, disrespect, no reciprocity. Like, it's just a low vibing shit. A low vibing fucking relationship that was one-sided. You know, I had to fucking pat myself on the back and tell myself it's okay to be real with yourself. That's okay. You know what I'm saying? Because I damn sure did a lot of fucking shedding of tears behind this shit. I had a lot of fucking days where my heart was severely fucking broken, and disappointment and confusion. So now it's okay for me to celebrate on the other side of that. To say that it's a lot of shit that you accomplished without that motherfucker. And it don't mean that you're not showing humility or gratitude to the creator and to the universe. That don't mean that. It means that you're acknowledging the part that you played and that you were able to overcome a lot of the hardships that was set before you. And it's okay to celebrate that. And it's okay to acknowledge that. And it's okay to be real with yourself. Because listen, baby, to me, in my opinion, coming from the background that I came from, even though there was love in my family, I'm a homeowner. That's big for me. And I ain't scared to fucking say it, and I ain't scared to admit it. I'm not egotistical enough to try to act like that's light. That's not light. That's big for me. Okay? It was a very, very big moment, a milestone in my life that I am grateful for. That when I was going through the process, I was in shock and awe, because what may seem normal to some people wasn't a norm for me. And I was able to purchase a home in a diverse cultural community that I have been there at this time. Right now, I've been there 1 year and 5 months. But I have seen a drastic change in my children. As far as their education, their social skills, their socialism, their rapport with family, with me. I have seen a drastic change. And so I realized that you don't even know, and perhaps they never really knew, the kind of effect of growing up in a certain hood, in a certain dynamic, in a certain situation, how it can affect you mentally and emotionally. I don't even think that we're fully aware of that as a fucking people. Because maybe if we, maybe if we were, we would make better choices when it comes to places that we live at. But we are so used to operating out of survival. And it's no fault of our own. It's none, because we was raised in the fucking jungle where it's just like, motherfucker, you either gonna swim or you gonna drown. You gonna survive or you gonna die. You understand? So I'm not blaming anyone for making the best out of their situation that they have at the time. What I am saying is that when you get to a point in your life, if you get to a point in your life where you're able to change your living conditions and your environment, don't feel no regret or no type of negative feeling behind it. Don't feel like you owe any fucking body or anyone to stay stagnant or stuck in a situation if you feel the opportunity to make a difference, make a change in that situation. Because I'm going to tell you something. The hood is the hood. I always loved the hood. It always kept me grounded, and it will keep me grounded, because it also lets me know ain't no motherfucking way in hell I'm going back. Ain't no way in hell I'm going back, or I'm taking my children back. I'm not fucking doing it. If I can help it, this will be a change of lifestyle for myself, my children, my future grandchildren, and future generations to come. Because we, as a people, deserve it. Our ancestors fucking, come on, they have sacrificed blood, sweat, and tears. They paid debts that they didn't even fucking owe. So this shit has been a long time coming. And again, it don't mean that I ain't humble, and it don't mean that I ain't grateful, but I don't have to show my humility or gratitude to fucking humans. I'm showing that shit to the divine entities that opened up the doors for me to be able to make these moves. And I'm patting myself on the back to have the fucking wherewithal in my mind and in my heart to not just want better, but to turn those wants into desires, and to have it in me to be able to do so. To have it in me to be able to do so. Because like I said in the beginning, a lot of motherfuckers talk. They do a lot of motherfucking talking, and they don't do a lot of motherfucking walking. They don't. And then turn around and get mad at you or hold some type of jealousy or envy towards you because you have the wherewithal to make your situation better. They don't like that shit. They don't like it. But what the fuck they don't like is not my motherfucking problem. And so I needed to take the time yesterday to take a breather, to give thanks, to lay out on my face, to really just take in, like, okay, I had this whole plan set up. The plan was to assist my significant other with reestablishing his footing in society, in this society. Once he was able to take off on his own, that's fine, that's great. Now we could be a powerful force, because now, I have my counterpart. I have my helpmate. He returned back to our family. He returned back to our society. And the black family dynamic is a powerful motherfucking force, okay? So that's what I wanted for myself. That's what I wanted for my children. Then I also wanted on my list, and now we're going to purchase a home. And I'm going to put our family in a better environment so that we won't be in a position to be in the same atmosphere that took their father from them. We won't be in the same position that will make my sons think in any type of way or tempt in any type of way that being themselves is not good enough, that they need to prove to any type of gang or anybody outside of themselves that they are worthy of staying at the bottom, because the bottom ain't no fucking place to be. But leave it to a lot of these fucking affiliations, they'll have you believe that the bottom is where the fuck is at. So I never wanted that for my sons either. So I saw the opportunity to get my family out of a particular situation, and I fucking jumped on that. All with the help of the divine creator, all with the help of the universe. And so yes, I had some plans set in place. And if those two was something that I wanted to accomplish, but I got half of it done, which means I got one out of the two, I'm good with that. I'm good with that. Because if he was not able to maintain the family dynamic, if he wasn't able to grasp the concept of the validity and the value of what he had in his hands, and he allowed it to go through his hands, then that means that the universe and God knew something that I didn't know, and he was no longer able to stay within that dynamic, because whatever it is that they knew, they also knew that we wasn't going the same way. Something happened in between the time of our physical separation that they knew we was no longer going the same way. And I appreciate the divine intervention, because anybody that's hell-bent on bringing you down for the sake of their ego, or because they feel threatened by who you have evolved to. So now, instead of evolving themselves, putting themselves, they have a fairly damn strong foundation to stand on. And instead of them now using those resources to put themselves in a better position, instead of them doing that, they turn around and make a conscious decision to turn you into the enemy because they feel threatened about who you are. Who you are is a threat to their ego. If that's the type of person they is, and they now make a conscious decision to use those resources to try to bring you down and dismantle who you are as a person, and dismantle the foundation, and dismantle your accomplishments because it threatens their ego or their adulthood or their perception of who the fuck they thought you were, those is motherfuckers you do not motherfucking need in your life. You do not want those type of fucking people around you. And it may be hard to fathom, because these are people that we say that we love. These are people that we in love with. These are family members, and you don't want to think that your family would not want what's best for you, because in your purity and in your high yourself and your highest spirituality, you want what's best for the people you love. And you would hate to think that those emotions are not being reciprocated to you, because love is pure. Love is pure and love is real. But it doesn't mean that your intentions for one another is the fucking same. And when people start making a conscious decision to plot on your downfall, you need to get away from motherfuckers like that. I don't give a fuck who the fuck they are. And I think the reality of that hurt me. And as much time as I put in with that motherfucker and did shit for that motherfucker that I see he would never do for me, that's the shit that had me feeling bitter. And so right now, I am taking this time out to ask the universe and the creator to take that bitterness off of me. I do not want to be no bitter bitch. However, 14 years is a long motherfucking time to pour your resources and make an investment into a motherfucker who was never investing in you and never gave a fuck about you, and the only thing they fucking cared about is what the fuck you can do for them. Okay? That shit is a hard fucking pill to swallow, but I'm swallowing it nonetheless. And this is what made me say, you know what? It hurt. But here's the balance. You couldn't get that first wish of being able to have the family completion with the father of your children, with the man that you was in love with. You didn't get that part, but you have other things that you can celebrate, and that you, because you was able to accomplish it, right? And you don't have to make your peace with that at that moment, and like, you don't have to let it stop there. Excuse me, because I have an issue with speaking in third party terms. I don't have to let it stop there, because I still believe in love. I still believe that there is someone out there suitable for me and who I am at my best, because that's what the fuck I want. I want the best. I'm done with that half-ass bullshit. All right, all of that, keep making excuses. Oh, he's human. Or, oh, motherfucker, you motherfucking right, he's human. Which means, unless he has a disability, there's nothing wrong with his thought process. And every fucking decision that humans make, there's a conscious thought behind it, whether it's a negative or a fucking positive. Okay, so I'm saying all that to fucking say is that I still believe in love. I am not motherfucking giving up on love. I'm just using all my resources to pour back into myself. I'm just not pouring that into no one else. But I believe when it is time that the universe and the creator will allow me to have the pleasure of meeting the king for me, my divine counterpart, someone who will definitely be on the same page as I am, if not similar. We're not going to be going two different ways. We're going to be in the similar energy, so that it will be appreciated, understood, and reciprocated. And I'm okay with that. Right? And yeah, that's what the fuck I'm at today. And I feel great, because I have used the days. Shit. I have used, I'm sorry, y'all. I have used my days off. I needed them to solely continue to release some of that negative energy, because I also realized that some of that shit ain't mine. I'm carrying around that shit, and that shit ain't mine. Rightfully so, I feel a little bitter about investing those 13 years that he was incarcerated, pouring up, because it was really a struggle for me financially. I wasn't there yet, but it's okay. It was really a struggle, and I poured my resources to someone that didn't even give a fuck enough to say, in all honesty, I'm not ready. I'm still not ready. But instead made a conscious decision to mistreat me and disrespect me, and still think that I'm supposed to be there because, people get into their ego and they feel like they could do whatever the fuck they want to do to people. That's a twisted ass mind state to me. And that's another thing I want to bring up real quick. Anybody that you loving on and that's not loving you in return, but will take advantage of your love in a negative way, manipulate you, use the beauty and the purity of love to turn that around and say, I could do what the fuck I want to do to this bitch because she always been there and she gonna continue to be there. Motherfuckers like that, you need to stay the fuck away from. Them the motherfuckers that don't know the value of nothing, so they can't appreciate and understand the value that you hold. Motherfuckers that you dedicated and loyal to, who cannot simply understand it and return it back to you. You need to stay away from motherfuckers like that. And you know who motherfuckers like that is, because they showing you. Because you cannot wear masks forever. At some point, the mask falls off. And if you ready for what the fuck you either been praying for, or if you ready for the person to truly be exposed to you or not, is not the motherfucking, that's not the meat and potatoes of it. Is what are you going to do with the information once you get it? Fuck what you ready for. So many times life has threw things at us that we wasn't fucking ready for. And the only thing we could do is put an H on our chest and handle it the fucking best way we know how. Alright? So now that this information is exposed to you, what the fuck are you gonna do about it? Sincerely, I'm asking. Gave you one to ponder on. I want you to have a blessed day. I'm feeling wonderful today, and I wish the same for you. Peace, love, and healing.